Okay, today's topic is very general topic, comes from common sense. Okay, and you can use this PPT to educate others. I mean, of course, you can need to modify, bring it to the level where people can understand it. Lot of material is available on internet. So whenever you know you go to your hometown. Okay, please visit local colleges or schools and then educate people on cyber security, because it's as good as telling people to have a lock uh, at the door, right? Okay, and everyone can be victim. People, those who have no knowledge of computer science are likely to be victim, as well as people who are educated. A friend of mine who is CEO of a company, IT company, was also fooled by cyber criminals, right? So these guys are really smart. So you need to educate, help others in knowing what can happen to them if they are not careful about it, and the techniques of protecting themselves. Okay, that's the whole purpose of this course, because we have diluted this course to the level where some of your second year students can understand. Obviously, you can bring it, simplify it further and then educate others. Okay, so today we'll study just few points, the techniques how to protect oneself. Like firewall, we'll study in little detail. VPN tunnels we have already studied, and protecting the routers and other protection techniques. So these are the common protection techniques. You can go through it. Uh, okay, and some of these we will study, and many of these we have already discussed in somewhere or other. Something like cloud, etc., we have not touched, but most of our data today is moving to cloud. Okay, and like data centers and so on, right? So data center is a collection of, say, for example, 100,000 computers and memory modules, right? So, and they are interconnected with each other in a small building, or not very small building, fairly large size building. So now question, and then there are multiple data centers. So now whenever you send a query or whenever you have a document to process, it gets all processed there. It's very high speed. Okay, where even a single Google query will result into at least hundreds of machines working together to give you results, right? So you get feel for a powerful, very powerful computer connected somewhere in cloud. So that we called a cloud, which gives you a virtual interface, right? And there are a lot of focus of cyber security shifting to cloud now, because all of us are using cloud. The cloud by default, clouds are actually implemented, or by companies like Amazon and Microsoft and Google. So they are quite smart in providing security, yet we cannot say they are foolproof, right? They are better than creating your own infrastructure in house and trying to provide security. Instead of that, cloud providers can provide better security than that. However, these are not foolproof, and there are hundreds of techniques of breaking security of cloud. Okay, well, ultimately you are going to the cloud, right? So somebody, instead, if somebody hacks your credentials, then they can also go to the cloud. So we'll not discuss this, we don't have time, because we'll have to but this interesting topic, you can read it by yourself if you want. So first, let's start with firewall. What is a firewall like? Did you enable firewall in your machine? See, every antivirus software, most of the antivirus software, good ones, provide firewall protection. What is a firewall in general? Okay, first little theory. See, every organization has a large number of machines and employee laptops, etc. Okay. Now, if you give internet access to all of them, direct internet access, then it's like hundreds of people sitting everywhere in the on in the city or out of city and so on and so forth, right? And there's no way to provide protection to them because all are individual internet nodes. Okay, all right. And we see that as organization provides more services, there's a more risk, more number of programs are there, right? And these programs may have vulnerabilities also, right? And we can see that also a more number of machines, more risk. I mean, if you have one machine versus 1000 machines in an organization, the risk of organization having 1000 machine is much higher because any of these machine may catch virus or malware or can be made victim and so on and so forth, right? Okay, now you have 1000 machines. How do you protect them? Can you protect them individually? And each one is given independent internet access? It is hard task, right? Of course, now the work from home is moving to in that direction, that now it is responsibility of individual machines anywhere in the world. They are working towards common goal. They are connected over internet, right? And how do they need to be protected, right? So we are moving towards that. Okay. However, if there are number of people in an organization, right, then we need to provide a common mechanism of protection. All right. So now, of course, this common mechanism is firewall. Okay. So last point is, instead of securing individual machine, we want to secure the entire network. So network may have hundreds of computers or thousands of computers, and then we provide a single mediation point. It's like this. This is your internal network. There can multiple LANs and so on and so forth. And this is the external world, internet. Okay, and of course, no organization will work of its own without using internet. So the data will pass through that to internet, and data will also come in. So there will be outbound traffic from the organization and inbound traffic which will come to the organization. Okay, now this firewall has to observe this traffic and then do something about it. It's like this in any apartment complex. Okay, you have firewall here, which is nothing but security guards. So if you are going inside, then you will have to, they will stop you, they will look at you, and then they may allow and may not allow depending on the credentials that you have. You may be a guest to this apartment complex, then they will call that particular apartment and get confirmation and then allow. Nowadays we have many apps like MyGate, etc., etc., and there may be traffic when you go out of that campus, like from inside network go out. Again, these guys will look at whether you are resident. If you're resident, you will be allowed to just go out without any check. Okay, so for that you may have some token. Okay, or something like some sticker on your car, etc., etc., or some ID card. Or if there is a vendor, etc., etc., going out, then they will check. Anybody who is non-resident will be checked, right? So this gate is working, and plus security guard is working as a firewall. Similarly, here the firewall looks at all IP packets and also looks at all packets. See, they can look also at inside whether it's a TCP, UDP, and all that, and based on some rules it allows. Okay, all right. So we have this firewall node, and this is the organization network, and this everything has got to pass through this firewall. firewall, all outgoing traffic and all incoming traffic as well. So now we have studied this security principle. This so firewall should provide complete mediation. All right, this is very important point. If there are multiple entry and exits, then this will not work. Okay. Now, if any machine inside directly connects to internet bypassing a firewall, then this mechanism will not work. Okay. So many organizations don't allow employees to use uh, yes, for example, connect laptops to mobile and use 5G etc. to connect to outside world. All right, many companies don't allow employees to have mobile inside the organization. Many companies also don't ask employees not to mix up between personal mobile and company given mobile. Okay, so there are number of methods. All right, so now how do you control all this, right? Even here, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, here. So how would this whole process will how will these security guards will work? Like even in your campus, right? These security guards or security officers are given some instructions, right? They work based on a policy. They just don't work randomly, right? They are told that any vehicle that's coming inside which does not have IIT Mandi sticker will not be allowed. Also, they will be asked questions about, right? Or anybody who is going out and looks suspicious, it does not have ID card, will not be allowed. Only institute buses will be allowed. Any other bus should be thoroughly checked in. So so all these are governed by policies. Okay. Similarly, firewall must have a policy. And who will set the policy? You, the owner. And if you don't have a clue how to set it up, then of course it comes with default policy. Now, this policy is for institute or an organization or home could be different, right? Now, most of us are not aware of what firewall is, so we'll leave the policy to default policies. For example, you may say that, so basically the policy will ask define what traffic is allowed to exit the network. Okay, define what traffic is allowed to enter the network. So this outbound policy and inbound policy, like your security guard will allow anybody who's going out, possibly can allow, thinking that everyone inside from the organization is honest, or anybody who could get into the campus is after some checks, so must be honest. Okay, all right. So a very simple policy which we normally apply to home networks is that allow outbound traffic, allow everything that's going out, because ultimately everybody at home is honest and your machine is honest machine. Okay? But inbound, anything that comes inside should be checked. Okay, so now you can have a very simple rule. If something is coming back inside in response to some request, you make a request for something, or and then is coming in back in response to this, then allow. Okay, and so on, right? So you can have policy. For example, institute can have also policy that allow all Zomato and Swiggy guys, because they are in response to some students' request. Okay, so there can be some all these policies are there, right? Okay, and allow only those and deny all other inbound traffic. All right. So we can have if these policies are not very explicit, right, then we can have default allow policy, allow all traffic, okay, accepting for those that are there in denial list. So for your institute, for example, at the gate, that these guys will have a list that don't allow beggars, okay, or don't allow, you know for example, villagers, for some reason or other, right? I'm just giving hypothetical reasons, right? So that's called denial list. Denial list, right? So anybody who is in denial list will not be allowed, or all other people are allowed. This is one kind of policy. Other policy is that could be by default, don't allow anybody, allow only those who are in the allow list. So now, if this kind of policy is not there, then this kind of policy can be there, where allow students with ID card, allow parents of students if accompanied by a student, allow workers, teachers, etc., etc., right? Allow vendors with permission, all that. So this is allow list. So when somebody comes in and then guard checks that person and is not part of this, then deny that. So we can have this kind of policy. So which policy is best? Which is more secure? Of course, default deny policy works out better for security. It provides higher security because you don't know whom you are allowing may also be, may have some issues. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So basically, default deny policy works out better because only those in allow list are allowed. Okay, only those in allow list are allowed, all others are not allowed. When a default deny list, okay, only few people are listed who are not allowed, all everybody else is allowed. So everybody else whom you will be allowed to, may also include some criminals, right? Because you don't know who is going to future criminal, right? So default deny where there is allow list works out to better. All right. Now these firewalls are actually packet filters which will look at all IP packets. Okay. Now these filters can be stateless or stateful. What is stateless filter? They don't have history. They are looking at each packet individually. Okay, and depending on what this packet is, where is it coming, where is it going, the source address, destination address, what is inside, they allow or not allow. Okay, they don't have any history. For example, your security guard at the IT Mandi campus, okay, will look at each student individually. Up there, assuming that 10 students are coming together in a group, we will ask for individual to give the ID card and allow. Okay, some students have gone out for trekking. These security guards will not remember that they have gone out for trekking, and then when they come back, they will be checked in. Now, whether is a worker in the institute or the director of the institute, it doesn't matter to the security guard. He will ask for individual that show the ID card. So there is no history, right? Similarly, here there are rules that individual packet must be checked and allow and not allow. Okay, all right, please go through this. Okay, now if we have something like TCP, which is based on connection orientation. Basically, when we say connection, it means a machine inside network will request a connection to server, could be outside, and will respond back with acceptance of connection, and then data exchange happen, and then connection is broken. Connection means that the all packet, there is understanding between the two entities, machine and the server. Okay. So now how do we implement this kind of, because these are all based on history or knowledge that there is existing connection. So both hands should have knowledge, while firewall does not allow this. Then we have some tweaks available, which is given here. So we will not go into details. Now stateful filter is the one which keeps some information, right, which has history, right? Say for example, if director's car has gone out, he has gone from north campus, south campus, the security guard will know that he has gone out in his personal car. When it comes back, then he knows that this car belongs to director sir and should be allowed in. Okay. So, right, so there can be very specific rules. For example, allow TCP connection from 4.5.5.4 to some other IP address at port 80. Okay, or allow TCP connection which is internal connection to organization. INT represent internal connection to, for example, IT Mandicam. Any machine star represent any machine inside, any machine, any port inside the organization with any IP address, any port should be traffic from that will be allowed to any external machine that is going to port 80, the HTTP port, right? Okay, so we can form this kind of rules, and that comes in stateful packet filters, right? Okay, so it means that now they can track well-known application like HTTP or FTP or TCP, etc., right? Firewalls of course are very good. It provides overall security because it looks at each individual packet that is coming in and going out, but it reduces network connectivity. Okay, I mean, because many applications won't work with firewall, right? So if you switch on firewall and some applications don't work, you'll have to really see, right? Now question that I'm asking is that this is your organization, right? Your says North Campus. Should security guard look at it, or the firewall here look at any traffic that's going outside, or this organization, any org, and there's a firewall? Should this firewall look at the traffic that goes outside? Anybody? Because everyone, assumption is that everyone inside is honest. That's the assumption, right? What happens there is employee who's sending company confidential information to outside world? Okay, how does it find it out? Firewall will find it out, right? Simple firewall won't. It will look at only source address and destination. Source address inside, destination could be anything. Inside could be very important company confidential information. So this kind of firewalls, the smart firewalls also look at the contents of the packets that are going inside. What is inside? And then allow and won't allow, right? If it is encrypted, of course not much can be done, end-to-end encryption. Okay, but these packets that are going with encryption will be dropped, could be dropped, right? And these kind of techniques are called deep packet inspection. All right, like security guard will check any truck that's going outside, what is taking back. Okay, and so on, right? Okay, all right, let's go on. Now of course, second protection mechanism that we have seen is VPN and tunnels, right? Now you can create VPN from your laptop to any server using IPsec. Okay, like either transport mode or tunnel mode. Or you can, this is a transport mode which is end to end between one machine to another machine, or tunnel mode which is between one gateway to another gateway. Now this gateway of course can also be firewall. Okay, so there is a, between north campus and south campus you can create, and they are connected over internet, you can create this kind of tunnel. Okay, so that's second technology. First is firewall, second is VPN. So now you should see that whether you are using both of these or not. At least when you connect it to institute servers, then you have to use VPN. I am sure their institute must have policy about it. Router, right? In home router, for example, your Wi-Fi router, you need to protect it. Why do you need to protect it? You know, most of the time your mobile is connected to Wi-Fi router. Okay, and your laptops, etc. is connected. And if that router has a bot, or your router is insecure, or somebody has already logged into that from outside, then it can look at everything that you are sending. Okay, what is a router? Router actually is a powerful computer. It has everything. It has OS. Okay, it will also have some other features corresponding to routing. It will also have firewall. It will also have access control, right? Now you know access control like login and password. Note that every device that is connected to internet, whether your refrigerator, bulb, or washing machine, or anything that's connected to internet, must have an IP address and must have access control mechanism. Otherwise your internet, anybody can reach to other node. So the routers also come with protection mechanism, which is user ID and password. Okay, now when somebody comes to install your Wi-Fi, or you buy a Wi-Fi router from shops, they come with default passwords. Okay, and these are very simple passwords, right? Everyone knows default password for Geo router, or router by Airtel, or router by Verizon, and all that. It's all published. It's written on the box. Okay, and if you don't change it, then actually anybody can use this user ID, which is default user ID, and password, which is default password, and then access your Wi-Fi router and install there anything that we have already studied. For example, they can install their rootkit, or they can install a bot which will look at all your activities and keep sending it to you, or your cyber criminal outside. Okay, so now first thing first, you need to change this default passwords, and secondly, you know, you'll have to, normally these companies provide you a very low end Wi-Fi router. Okay, you'll make sure that the Wi-Fi router is high class, powerful, and it has security protection, and is also up to date. Okay, I'm sure most of you don't care about it, right? Now what kind of attacks can happen on router? Denial of service. Okay, flood the router with ICMP packets and it will block. And routing table poisoning, this also we have studied. Somebody can break into your machine. Somebody is already logged into a machine, can change this routing table. Or it can be changed by sending modified routing update packets. Okay, So these are some ways the routers can be manipulated, even your Wi-Fi router at your home. And it's very simple. Once somebody has gone, could take control of your Wi-Fi router, they can look at what's, suppose you have a security camera inside home, right? Then they can also control security cameras. They can see what exactly is happening inside house, right? Okay, so make sure that you protect your Wi-Fi router, and look at all these companies that make routers, not exactly Wi-Fi router, but any router that connects to your home or office. And these are the common username and these are common password. These are all published, it's available. Okay, you search on internet, you will get everything, right? Then once, now you can do this experiment, you can just ping it to a IP address, okay, and then try logging into router. Okay, it's possible. Okay, look at details at this website, right? So what anybody can do by stealing your information, they can listen to your ongoing traffic, because your machine, laptop, mobile, etc., all are connected to Wi-Fi route or router, right? Okay, router, and that router is connected to external internet, right? Instead of, so everything, if somebody, there is a bot here or malware here, it can listen to everything that's happening, and it can make a copy of this and send data to external master. It can steal your banking credentials. If you're not using HTTPS, which means that end-to-end you're encrypting using TLS, then make sure that the bot will take your banking. So anything that is going through router which is non-encrypted can be stolen. Okay. Okay. All right. It can install new payloads onto connected devices. What it can do is that once there is a control of router, then they can, cyber criminals can approach your devices, your laptop, your refrigerator, your whatever device, or your mobile, and then install a new software or new malicious software there. And if, and then it can create a backdoor and get instructions from command and control master. So there may be millions of such machines all over the world, and there is a master, a criminal master, right? So these are the machines. Could one of these could be your machine also, right? And then can give instructions what is to be done. For example, it can be used for spamming. It can be, this malware in your machines can be used for any criminal activity. They can also do man in the middle attack. Okay. Okay. The another question is that, do you think that, see, all your traffic goes through ISP, right? You use some ISP in India like Airtel and Geo, etc. Do you think that they don't see your traffic? They can't. Ideally, they should, but they can. But internet, nobody gives any guarantee, right? So you better encrypt all the data before you sending it to, before it reaches the router. So first thing first is change default password in your Wi-Fi router, and Wi-Fi password should be strong, very strong, like at least 16 characters long. The number of encryption schemes, right, for channels SSID or channels that go outside, use only WPA2 and WPA3. In fact, you should use only WPA3, which is strong. It's not broken as yet, but I think WPA2 is broken. Turn off WPS, this is very old. Turn off UPnP. What is UPnP? This, this is a protocol that finds, if any new device is connected to network, and your TV is also UPnP. Okay, all right. If you have a gas network, then better provide gas. It should not be free, right? Anybody can connect to gas. Provide passwords, user ID and passwords. User ID will be of course guess, which is visible to anybody that comes to your home, but password you should say that this is the password and use that. It means that anybody who is outside your home is still accessible, has access to Wi-Fi channels, should not be able to log in, because once they log in, they have more control. Disable remote administration of your router and make sure port forwarding is switched off. Port forwarding is a technique we use uh, for remote monitoring of the traffic in any router. Uh, so basically it makes copy of what traffic is coming to a physical port of a switch and then send it to remote machine. So periodically check the software that's available, right? So because routers are also computers, it will have bugs, it will have security holes, and new versions will possibly plug those holes. Okay, all right. So please go through these also. Okay, what are the other protection mechanism? Antivirus. Now I am sure all of you will have antivirus software, right? And it's very cheap. It's go to Amazon.com and look at some of the antivirus software available. It costs less than 500 rupees per year for 3 devices. Okay, you can buy any one of the one which is known name, and then which is less cost because these companies give discounts. Okay, all right. And then you can do through that static file scanning. Now what it does, it actually it goes, once you give permission to this antivirus software, it will go to your hard disk and look at each file there and try to find out if there is a virus there, because it will look at the file, it will check some patterns and match it with its own directory, and then something is there, then it will delete that file or flag you that there is a virus and will remove that virus. So it's called static, right? You do this periodically. Maybe I do it once in a month. And it takes about 1 hour time. Okay. Now some people do it every week. So depending on what do you want to do, but do it regularly. A second is that real-time dynamic scanning, that when you access a file, suppose you may have a file and hard disk, or you must have downloaded something, immediately this software will be first. This software will check whether there's a virus or not. It's called real-time, online. Okay, now many people use this. I don't use it because it's irritating at times, but it's good practice to use this one. Okay, all right. And also they have behavior based detection method, right? I mean, they keep watching what's happening in computer. Okay, and then find out if suspicious behavior, it will flag it. It means that something wrong is happening, right? Okay, all right. For example, access time has gone up suddenly, right? Then it will become suspicious, right? So now of course these softwares also come with AI. A lot of learning happens based on user behavior, and then if some behavior doesn't match with learned behavior, then there is a possibility of some malware. Okay, so these are used for okay, antivirus software is used for a lot of things like web protection, spam protection, firewall features, virus and malware protection, spyware protection. Spyware is kind of malware that spy on your computer. It steals everything, all confidential information like credit card information. It can have a keylogger and so on and so forth, right? Okay, please go through these slides. Also something that's important is two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication in general. MFA we call it, right? And two-factor is a kind of multi-factor where factor is just 2. So now one factor that we always use is user ID password. Second thing that should enable, if somebody is hacked into, somebody knows your user ID password, then second factor, it could be OTP that you receive. then that person will not be able to get the OTP in most cases, right? Okay, or it could be a code that comes to some app on your mobile, right? Some security token. Okay, you can also, as a second factor, you can also get a phone call. It happens. Like in Google, in case you have second factor authentication, sometimes you also get a call, or sometimes you log in from different machine, they want to verify this machine is by you, then they will send a code, or they will pop up a window in your machines which is registered with them, which know is your machine, and then you'll have to click on that, right? So these are all second factor authentication. Okay, biometric could be one, so there can be a password and biometric. There can also be hardware tokens. You'll see this when you join an organization, they can give you a hardware token, and then you use, when you log in, you use the password and also a code displayed here. Okay, this thing is, of course, now next is password. Password we have discussed a lot, so you by now what's the importance of having strong, long and complex password. Once the password file is leaked out, it's available because of data breach, is available cyber criminals. Still, if it is at least 15 character or 10 character long with all uppercase, lowercase, digit and special characters, it's extremely difficult for them to break it. And very important, password is meant only for you, not even for your intimate partner. All right, then social engineering and phishing. Now this is where you need to educate your parents and your friends and so on, right? What is social engineering? Okay, it's art of manipulating people so that they give up their confidential information or break standard security practices, right? When you are somebody wants you, somebody calls you and says that please share your OTP, right? Or somebody may even ask for the password. They say I'm calling from bank and there is some issue and your account is getting, is into difficulty, so please let me know your password, user ID and password, so you can fix it. Now, never ever allow this, and by now you know that you shouldn't allow that, but also tell your friends and relatives and others, children especially, not to share this information. So everyone can be potential target. It could be very, very smart ways nowadays, right? For example, they may pose as your old friend, they know about you. Suppose your surname is, say, Sharma. Okay, they will, then the person will say that I am some, somebody related to you, some Dubey or whatever, same community, and then smartly try to get info from you. So once you have confidence on the person, then they will take away information from you. So these attacks are very simple attacks, right? Okay, it's a low tech, low cost, but easy to execute. Because the basic is that we human beings trust each other. Now this trust is exploited. That's the reason there is a security principle which all organization must follow, is called zero trust model or zero trust system, right? What is zero trust? Don't trust anybody and give minimum facilities to employees, right? Okay, don't trust. If, see, as employee needs to use a toilet, then allow, just say specifically you can use only this toilet, not you can't go to other toilet. Or you're allowed to come to your desk, you cannot allow inside, say for example a lab, okay, or a data center inside organization. You cannot go to CEO's room, right? So zero trust. Even CEO comes, security guard has to check. Same process are applied. So zero trust is a model that works beautifully against social engineering tricks. Okay. So social engineering tricks is not just by randomly somebody calling you. Nowadays very sophisticated. First they identify victim, they gather information, where do you work, what for example, I may want to break into an organization. I will first become friendly with you somewhere or other, maybe some bar you go to, and I will also go to bar, drink a beer, offer you a beer, and so on. Okay, and say that I also work in the same company, because by the time I have done research about your company, so I can fool. Okay, and select attack methods. Okay, try to get into info into from that person. Suppose that person is system admin guy, just ask in friendly way, what kind of firewall you have, what kind of routers you have, and so on and so forth, and engage the target, spin a story, and take control of interaction. And then once you get the information, expand the foothold, execute the attack, disrupt business, and then when you want to close the interaction, remove any traces of malware, and then bring attack to national land, right? So now social engineering attacks are not just plain and simple, somebody just calling you, but with a lot of research. It happened to me also, right? Somebody wanted me to send some money because one of my LIC some policy is there, and then they say that there are 2 lakhs of rupees and so on and so forth, right? So all kinds of things happen. Phishing is a kind of social engineering attack, right? So basically you get a link on email again, okay, and then double click on it, and then you get virus into your machine, or you are redirected to a malicious website, and so on and so forth, right? Okay, so don't fall into this one. You may get an SMS, you may get also WhatsApp message with a link, or somebody trying to fool you that we have enough money, we want to donate some money to you for good cause and all that. These are all kind of phishing attacks on you. Okay, and we can see that this data I have taken from Verizon, which publishes a report every year. And then action in breaches. Basically, if there is a breach, then there is approximately 20% chance that is because of social engineering tricks. Okay, and also hacking is first, malware is second, social engineering comes third. Okay, because very low cost and very effective method. And then mechanism to cause breaches. How do you, when breaches are caused, how is it caused? Credential leak is first, somebody gets user ID, password, etc. Phishing is second, by fooling people and trying to get information by sending an email which sounds very similar to CEO's email, and then says that you are double promoted or your promotion, and then click on that and you're gone, right? Software and hardware, we will not discuss much, excepting that keep your software updated all the time. So turn on automatic software update, because when a software updates, it means that now new version has come in, and they have improved the version from security perspective, right? And there are other techniques is that use your mobile device securely, because your mobile is a full computer. Okay, backup your data regularly. Now I am into trouble because of this. I have 2 laptops, same model. Okay, and one of them has cranked off yesterday, not because of security, but something has gone wrong, and I have not backed up the data. Okay, all right, so back up your data. Just buy a USB stick, pen drive, and then just copy it, but keep it safely. Don't use public Wi-Fi. You go to a coffee shop or tea shop and provides you public Wi-Fi or free Wi-Fi. Don't use it. You don't know what it is. Why shouldn't you use it, right? Even at airports, don't use it. Only download specific applications. So applications come, with a lot of viruses. Even they come from Google Play or App Store. there's a possibility it can contain virus, and there have been a lot of cases. Okay, and if unknown place, if you download, then there's good probability of getting viruses, right? So don't download it other apart from these two places, right? Now, when you download an application, then it asks for all kinds of permissions, right? To use camera and so on. Then think, why an application which is just a marketing application is asking for permission to use camera? Why should it? Right? Don't give permissions to your mobile apps. Right? One of these apps could be malicious, or it could be good app but with malicious content, because you don't know from where malicious, and then it can use your camera. Don't use publicly available charging cords, okay, or USB ports. You go to your shopping mall and then you'll find out that your mobile is running low on power, and then you charge it. There's a possibility, because what you are connecting is your USB port, and from there information can be stolen, or a virus can be put in there, right? You don't know. Use only reliable email provider. Now question is, what is reliable? You'll have to think about yourself, right? And very important thing is, what suspicious activity. In real life, if somebody is asking you for something very specific, that your friend, you get a call from your somebody that your friend has met an accident, and then can you immediately tell he needs money, he's in hospital, needs 1 lakh of rupees? Would you do that? First verify, collect data, authenticate, and then do it. Okay, without authentication and verification, don't ever get into any of these transactions. Bank account statements, check it periodically. If there is malicious activity, change all credentials, inform officers or whatever, right? And very important thing is that some of you are very maybe keen to share information, whether you have gone to a restaurant and all that, your photos, your birthday, your account, bank account number, Aadhaar card number, everything is available on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever, right? So don't do that. Protect your information, because this all information like this, can be used by cyber criminals, right? Use HTTPS instead of HTTP. All right, these are some of the things. Of course, there are many others, but some of the things, if you take care of, you'll be fairly protected. Okay, all right. Any question? Okay, then